Alright, welcome to another episode of White Guy Asian Food, and tonight we have a pasta dish from the Philippines. It's called Pancit. As always, let's look at the players first. We've got some green pea pods here, little snap peas, some julienne style cut carrots here. I've got some onions. Usually they don't use red onions, but hey, you can do what you want to do, so I don't want this to go to waste. This has been in my refrigerator. It's time to cook it. We've got some celery, which is cut very thin. The idea here is thin cutting for the veggies. Garlic, of course, ready to rock and roll with that. Let's talk about our proteins. I've got shrimp here. You want it raw, and you could buy it deveined and already have the tails off. So I've got about a pound of shrimp here. I've got chicken. I took a whole chicken and cooked it down and just deboned it, and then I saved the broth. That's going to come in a little bit. That stuff is liquid gold, so you never want to throw that away. We always want to use that for cooking. And then the next thing, and this you're probably going to have to go to an Asian market for, is called Chinese sausage. Interestingly, product of Canada. But anyways, I've got this cut in just some thin little wedges. And this is what's going to give this pancit the distinct flavor. Last ingredient, of course, this is a pasta dish. And so what we're looking at is a vermicelli style pasta. It's a rice. Let me bring you over here a little bit and show you how I prepared that. I just took a large glass bowl of this stuff, put some boiling water on top of it, and let it soak for about 3 to 4 minutes. Once the rice gets soft, then what you want to do is take it out, run it over some cold water, and just let it sit. It's now prepared, it's now ready for cooking. So what we want to do, of course, is head over to our wok and start blending it all together. Let's do that next. Alright, I've already got my wok cooking on the stove here. I'm using canola oil. The garlic is ready to go in there. Make sure you've let it hit for a while. You'll know it's right when you hear the sizzle. Oh yeah, that's the sound we're looking for there. So I'm going to add the garlic, and I'm going to get the onions in right away. I want the onions to soften here. You walk into a Filipino's home and you smell that oniony, garlic kind of mixture, you know something good is on the way. Okay, proteins are going in. Chinese sausage going in. Gonna mix up. Oh, it's beautiful, beautiful. You don't want to add too much stock. You want to let the oil do the work so it begins to cook into the proteins. Chicken, of course, is already cooked. That's going in. Just keep your stock handy for when things seem like they're getting a little bit too dry. Okay, real important here as we're cooking this, just because you guys really can't see what's happening off camera, you really don't want to take your veggies and mix it with your raw proteins. So the ideal is that your protein should be cooked first. And that's what I've done here. The chicken's been cooked ahead of time and everything like that. So we're going to make sure that the shrimp isn't totally raw coming in here, that's cooked. And then once that's there, we're going to begin to blend it all together and make the magic happen. See you in a moment. This looks good. They play well together. One of the things that I love about Asian food is that everything is usually fresh. Very little of it is processed. So you know you're eating good when you're doing this stuff. Pea pods are going to go in just a moment. Okay, so I've got all my cooked proteins in there. I've got the Chinese sausage, I've got the chicken, I've got the shrimp. By the way, if you've never cooked with shrimp before, and I never did until I married an Asian, what you want to do is you want to start with the shrimp. It's going to look a little translucent, and you want to make sure that it's nice and pink. The translucence is gone, and then you mix it together with your veggies. So all the proteins are together now. with the veggies. They're all having a great time. And now what we want to begin to do is we want to begin to season it. And we're going to season it with oyster sauce. You can get this stuff, actually you can get this stuff at Woodman's. Probably a Jewel is going to carry this as well. And here's where it's all about taste. So you're going to have to eyeball this stuff. I'm going to add this stuff in here. And then I'm going to add a little more chicken broth, and then I'm going to add a little bit of soy sauce, and I'm going to get it mixed in together. It's better not to put a lot at first. It's better to start off small, taste it, and then add as you go, because if you make it too salty, you can't go backwards. Okay, now we're ready to just blend all of this magic together. You can see this is what we're cooking with. This is our base, just that veggie protein mix, and then we're going to add our rice pasta together, blend it up, and then as we're blending it together, that's where you're just going to taste it a little bit, and if you feel like it's getting a little bit too dry, you're going to add a little bit more of your stock. If you feel like it's not salty enough, that's when you may add a little bit more soy sauce. I tend to use the oyster sauce a little bit heavier than the soy sauce. And then any additional saltiness that I want to add to it is going to come from the soy sauce. How much? I don't know. All this stuff's got to be eyeballed. So we're going to just start adding this and blending this together. And this is where, you know, I like to work with my wooden spoon a little bit. I'll set the heat back on it again. And I just begin to turn it and blend it and work it. Okay, so here we've got it all blended together, and again, have your liquid gold, have this chicken stock handy so that as you're cooking it together, you can always add more of the stock as you're moving along. Remember, all we did was blanch the pasta, so it's got to be cooked in the wok with the ingredients for this dish. And here's where, if the pasta's looking a little too white, you could always grab some of your soy sauce and just begin to add a little bit of this as you're moving along and you're mixing it up. Again, you want to be careful. You don't want to make it too salty. You got to make it just right, which means you got to taste as you go. You also got to watch as you're cooking for veggie snatchers. People like my wife who like to come along out of the camera scene and snatch up those pea pods. Don't let them do that. Alright, I've been working this. Everything is soft. Everything is ready to go. It's not too dry. If it was, again, I've got my liquid gold on the side to be able to add to it. And everything has just come together. I've already tasted it off camera. I added a little bit more soy sauce here and there. Again, you got to eyeball everything. Everything is according to taste. And in my judgment, this thing is ready to go. And I better move before my wife takes all of the pea pods out of this on her own. So just like any good pasta dish, you can just get yourself some tongs like this just to begin plating this. And this is ready to go. That's good, that's simple, that's healthy. Thanks for watching White Guy Asian Food. Enjoy.